Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 3. And before we get into this recap, I want to start off by saying that I want Kyle off this show. I know I can't stand Erica and Rinna either, but I really have an issue with Kyle, which I'll talk about more. But she irritated me from the beginning of this episode, and by the end, I was too done. I also don't like Diana. I know I said I would give her a few more episodes, but she tried it at the end. The way she talks about Sutton, like Sutton wasn't even in the room, I said no ma'am. But let me not jump ahead. Let's just get right on into it because we don't have a minute to spare. So we start the episode off with everybody meeting up at Crystal's house. She has a nice spread prepared for them. Everybody is there except for Sutton. So they're making small talk. Kyle brings up if they're excited for the La Quinta trip. And she says that she's going to be going down to La Quinta a day before them. And they're all going to come on Friday. We learn that Kyle's opening up another clothing store. I'm like, girl, why? The one in Beverly Hills failed. The one in New York also closed its doors. Why are you opening yet another store? Nobody wants the clothes, sis. I don't even know what Kyle is selling. Are they dresses? Are they caftans? Like, what exactly is in the store? So now Dorit excuses herself to use the bathroom, and immediately Kyle's putting on the dramatics talking about, I am just so worried about her. Like, she left me a voicemail this morning, and we see her in the confessional playing Dorit's voicemail. Something about that didn't sit right with me. I feel like Kyle is doing a lot for attention. I just feel like, how are you more affected by this robbery than Dorit is? Because every single second, you keep bringing it up. I question your sincerity because it's giving very much theatrics. The constant, I'm just so worried about Dorit. I'm just so sad. And then the tears right on cue. It's like, what's really going on? And Kyle has always been very self-centered to me. I always find her making things about herself. And it's funny how she accuses other people, i.e. Sutton, of doing the same thing. So now Dorit is back from the bathroom, and so Garcelle goes on to ask Dorit how she's doing. Dorit says that the night before was a really rough night for her. She took a Xanax to calm her down, and it didn't help. A quick side note before I forget. You guys, in my last recap, I did a double recap for episode 1 and 2. It was like a good 85% of y'all do not believe this robbery. I mean, the consensus down in those comments where you guys feel like they are faking this, that this was a money grab, and this was a scheme that PK set up to bring us the BS. In the words of Aunt Nora or Aunt Bertha, I forgot who said it. But the way a lot of you guys just don't believe this, you think that they're both faking, like, y'all got me side-eyeing Dorit now. I'm like, well, damn. And you guys know that I really want to believe that neither her or PK would be so stupid and so idiotic to pull a stunt like that. So going forward, about this robbery, I'm going to stay neutral. But I'm going to hope that neither of them would be so evil to fake a whole invasion. And to piggyback off of a lot of you guys not believing this robbery story, I get the impression that Erica doesn't believe it either, because her facial expressions throughout this scene, every time the robbery is mentioned, Erica looks like she's either bored, she's checked out of the conversation, she doesn't care, and that she also has some questions and some doubts about this robbery as well. So anyhow, Rinna says that Dorit can call any of them up for support, and they'll always be there to lend a listening ear. So now Kyle interjects, being the two-faced coward that she is, and she proceeds to throw Sutton under the bus. She says, well guys, since we're going to La Quinta in a few days, I just want to make sure that we're all good. She proceeds to bring up the conversation that she had with Sutton the other day about how she wasn't the one who had the gun to her head. So now Erica's like, she said that? Are you effing serious? Those words came out of her mouth? And at this point, I wanted to turn the TV off because I said, Erica, how dare you? The nasty things that fly out of your mouth on a regular basis, and now you want to be the moral police talking about Sutton said that? Are you kidding me? And for somebody who doesn't care about Sutton, you have a lot to say every time her name is brought up. You look real bothered. So Kyle says, look, I don't want to start anything, but I just found it to be so insensitive. So Garcelle jumps in, being the good friend that she is, and she says, I don't think it's right to have this conversation while Sutton isn't here. She's not here to defend herself, so say this when she's present. But we're not going to do this. And I said, that's how you do it. Not only is Garcelle about to be the MVP of this season yet again, but the fact that she's really clocking in and understanding the assignment and not sitting back. I mean, I was just so happy that she let Kyle know, like, what you're doing is shady and messed up. And let me just say this, Sutton, if you have not realized it by now, Kyle is not your friend. This has to be the second or third time that Kyle has ran back and told everybody what you said. Kyle is very conniving and very sneaky. At least with Rinna and Erica, you know what you're getting. But Kyle is the type to smile in your face, act like she's your good friend, act like she cares so much about you for her to turn around and stab you in the back. I find Kyle to be very disingenuous, very two-faced, very cowardly. She's always throwing rocks and hiding her hands, and that's the real reason why her sisters probably can't stand her. I was just so mad because it's like there was no reason for you to bring that up. Because you already had this conversation telling PK and Dorit what was said when you guys were on your way to Harry's party. There really was no reason for you to bring this up in front of the whole entire group. And I want to give you guys a big thank you for jogging my memory down in those comments about what Kyle said to LVP when LVP's brother passed away. Kyle said, well, we all have problems. So for her to keep harping on how insensitive Sutton was, that's a joke. And now we jump to a short scene with Kyle on her way to La Quinta. She's on the phone with her business partner, Shahida, and they're discussing the whole launch party and how she's excited. We learned that the reason why Kyle's opening up this store in the desert because it's a lot less expensive and it's less of a risk in case things go south. So now we move on to the next scene. Kyle has arrived to La Quinta with her 2 dogs. And now we see the rest of the women on their way. So we see Garcelle, Rinna, Crystal, Diana, and Erica meeting up at Erica's house to head on the road. So I think Erica's assistant made them some roadies. It was like a vodka soda in a thermos. Now they all take separate cars. It's Erica, Rinna, and Garcelle in one car, and then Crystal and Diana in another car. So while Crystal and Diana are in their car, they're making small talk, and then they pass by an outlet mall. So Crystal's like, oh my gosh, I love outlet shopping. I never pay retail for anything. Like, I will wait for a sale. Now, I don't really believe that. I don't think that Crystal is as frugal as she's trying to make herself out to be, because Crystal does have Birkins. She wore a $95,000 Birkin in the last season, okay? So Diana's confused because she has no idea what outlet shopping is. And there's a part of me that feels like Diana is putting on for the cameras. I find it hard to believe that she's never heard about outlet malls. You might not shop there, but I just find it hard to believe that you've never heard of an outlet mall. Just my opinion. I don't like to talk too much about my personal life, but, I'm friends with people who are on Diana's level financially, and they've heard of outlet shopping. Like, they might not shop at outlets, but they know what an outlet mall is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not buying that Diana is just this out of touch about stuff. And then Diana says that she never shops in stores. She has a designer send things to her home, and then she keeps what she likes and then sends back what she doesn't, and then she pays for it. Now, personally, there is nothing like shopping at the store, especially when you're shopping designer. The ambiance, the service, the champagne, like, the whole experience is really fun. So I'm kind of like, yeah, that's nice, but there's something about going to the actual store. Just my opinion. So everybody now arrives to La Quinta. Diana and Sutton are going to be staying at the resort, and everybody else is going to be staying with Kyle at her La Quinta house. So now we see everybody getting ready for Kyle's grand opening party, and Kyle heads off to her store first. So now we see Crystal head over to Sutton's suite, because remember that Sutton and Diana are staying at the hotel nearby. They're making small talk, and then Crystal finally says, Sutton, since me and you are on great terms now, we're friends, I just want to be transparent with you, and I want to let you know about a conversation that was had a few days ago. So Sutton says, sure, lay it on me. So Crystal says, I had everybody over my house the other day, and Kyle brought up this conversation that you guys had, and it seems like you might have said something that was a bit insensitive. So Sutton owns it. She's like, yeah, I did say it, but I didn't mean it that way. It's just that robberies freak me out because I experienced that when I was 14 and the memory never left me. And then Sutton says that sometimes she says weird stuff when she freaks out. And like I've said before in previous recaps, including last season, I just think that Sutton is kind of socially awkward. I don't think that she means any harm for the most part. And I think that that was just a knee-jerk reaction, but I do think that she feels sorry for Dorit. And like you guys pointed out in my last recap, Kyle has no right to be that upset at Sutton saying that when she was very insensitive to LVP when LVP's brother took his own life. So let's not make this a big deal because what Sutton said was not the end of the world, okay? And Erica and Rinna have said a lot worse than Sutton ever has. So enough with all this. What Sutton said was just the worst possible thing. And it's so clear that Kyle, Rinna, and Erica are trying to take Sutton down. But the joke's on them because us viewers, we can't send the three of y'all. So now we flip over to Kyle. She's at her store, and everybody's putting the finishing touches before the guests start arriving. Kyle, of course, is freaking out because that's what she does best. And we see Teddy Mellencamp there. I'm like, Teddy, you are just so desperate to be on this show by any means. And it's like, what don't you get? We don't like you. We never liked you. You were always boring. You were never that girl. Like, give it up. Teddy should have been a one and done. She brought nothing to the franchise. I don't know how or why she was even on there for 3 seasons, but it was 3 seasons too many. So now the rest of the ladies arrive, and I was low-key shocked that Garcelle greeted Teddy. I was like, Garcelle, why? Especially since y'all were both shading each other last year. But they're making small talk. The rest of the women are looking at the store. Diana throws some shade saying that she likes the clothes. Those are clothes that she would wear around the house. I said the shade of it all. So now we see Sutton and Dorit, and they're exchanging pleasantries. It's a little bit awkward between them, and Sutton's asking Dorit how she's doing, and then she apologizes for making that very insensitive comment. So mind you, while they're clearing the air, of course Kyle has to walk over, and now Garcelle walks over just to, make sure the conversation doesn't go left. Now, I caught the facial expressions that Kyle was making when Sutton was just saying how she feels and how she went through a robbery at 14, and it's like, that's not needed. It's very unnecessary. Let Sutton have this conversation and this moment with Dorit. So Sutton and Dorit have resolved their issues, and now we see Miss Diana and Erica talking, or should I say, Erica pretty much ass-kissing Diana. I mean, the way Erica was just groveling over Diana, it was just very sad to watch. But anyhow, Erica says that she wants to buy the Jasper Cartier ring, and then she says, I need somebody in my life to buy it right now, and that someone is you. She's saying that to Diana, mind you. So Diana says, okay, I'm gonna buy it right now. And so Erica says, thank you. And the way Erica said it, I got the impression that she was low-key dry begging and she wanted Diana to say, you know what, girl, I'll buy you one too. But when Diana didn't say that, Erica's face looked crushed. It was giving very much Gina from Real Housewives of Orange County. And if you watch OC, then you know Gina and her broke self is always dry begging for something. But anyhow, I digress. So now we see Kyle and Sutton hugging. And if I were Sutton, Kyle would not even get a hello out of me, much less a hug. So while they're hugging, Kyle makes a joke and she's like, what are you doing behind my back? Like, take the knife out of my back. And when Sutton said, take the knife out of my back first, I said, get her, Sutton, because that's not your friend. And like I said, Kyle is very two-faced and she's a friend to no one. And the audacity for Kyle to say that she doesn't stab people in the back, she does it up front in their face. I said, no, you don't. You are one of the biggest cowards on this franchise. I really can't stand her. And it's just so funny because in the earlier seasons, I actually loved Kyle. I was like, oh my gosh, why are they always so mean to her? And now it's like it all makes sense. Because she was always playing in folks' faces and then trying to play the victim. So now we see the ladies are back at the house. They're all relaxing and just talking. Kyle and Diana are having a little one-on-one conversation about astrology. Kyle's asking Diana what her sign is. Diana says that I think she's a Leo, but she's born at the end of August. Kyle's like, now girl, isn't that a Virgo? Now me personally, I know nothing about astrology, so if she would have said that she was a Capricorn, I would have said, okay, I mean, I don't know anything, so yeah. So now it's time to eat. The chef has prepared a fabulous spread. They have tuna tartare, they have caprese salad, they have steak, and I love some steak. I love some tuna tartare. So you already know that yes, my mouth was watering. And remember that Kyle's dogs are there, so they're just running around, and one of the dogs takes the steak off of Rinna's plate. Now, shout out to all the dog lovers, but let me tell you something. If I go to your house to eat, and your dogs are running around, breathing over my food, and they take the steak off my plate, I'm gonna be pissed. I think dogs are cute. I'll pet your dog. I'll play with it for a few minutes. But when your dog runs over and takes the food off of my plate, I'm gonna be annoyed. I was like, Kyle, you can't put them in the next room while you guys are all eating. Like, I know that when I go over to my friends' houses who have dogs, they'll put the dogs in the next room, especially when there's food. Like, they want to make sure that the dog isn't around breathing on the food. It's like just common courtesy. Now they finish eating their dinner and now they all go inside, and here's where the mess begins. So baby Garcelle clocked in today and said, well, since we're all together, now we can discuss Sutton while she's here. It seems like her and Dorit have made up, so why don't we have this conversation with Sutton present? So Kyle gets defensive and says that she said everything to Sutton's face. And I said, Kyle, not too much. Take that bass out your voice when you talk to Garcelle. She's just holding you accountable the same way that you want to hold Sutton accountable and talk about her in front of everybody. I'm glad that Garcelle is calling you out. So Sutton says, look, I apologize to Dorit. I'm a genuine person. My apology was sincere. And I apologize again for putting my problems first before Dorit's. So now Dorit acknowledges Sutton's apology, and she says that she believes that it was a genuine apology. So now Kyle interjects, and she's upset. She's raising her voice saying, I just don't understand how you can't be empathetic. And it's like, Sutton already apologized, Kyle. She apologized to Dorit. I don't know what more you want from her. Furthermore, why are you so upset about an apology that's not even meant for you? Like, this is between Dorit and Sutton, not you. Stop inserting yourself in everything. And baby, let's not do all this, because if somebody brought up what you said to LVP when her brother passed away, you'd be crying. Because you telling her that we all have problems is unacceptable and much worse than what Sutton said about Dorit and this robbery. So Sutton is defending herself and she says, look, I didn't know what state of mind Dorit was in. I didn't want to bombard her with all these calls. So Kyle keeps interrupting Sutton, and at this point, I'm really pissed because it's like, can you stop interrupting Sutton? Let her speak. So now Diana decides that she wants some screen time and some attention, and now she interjects with her 2 cents that wasn't needed. She says, may I say something? I don't know Sutton that well, but I think that she's very clumsy with her behavior and her words. It's her 2nd or 3rd time apologizing, and it's like, you know, she's very weird. Now, Sutton, in my opinion, was well within her right to curse Diana clean out, because how dare you? You don't even know me. We've met 2 times now. You're getting involved in drama that has nothing to do with you. And then for you to disrespect me by talking about me like I'm not even there, oh, we're gonna have an issue. And Diana, I didn't want to talk about it in the last recap, but let's talk about it now. All those allegations surrounding you, girl, I would tread real lightly. And if you haven't read up on Diana, I suggest that you do so immediately. But I said, how dare you call somebody else weird and wrong and talk about their behavior, but you got a lot of stuff going on, allegedly. And Kyle's sorry behind, nodding in agreement to what Diana's saying. I said, you know what? You're just a very sorry individual. And Sutton, like I said earlier, I really hope that you realize that Kyle is not your friend. So Sutton speaks up and says, look, I apologize. I'm a very empathetic person, and I didn't mean to say that. And now we have Kyle Richards, who just does not know when to shut the entire hell up. And she has the nerve to tell Sutton that Sutton was not empathetic or apologetic. So now Crystal jumps in and Crystal says, you know what? Y'all have me all the way messed up because the hypocrisy in all this is crazy. So they're all confused about what she's talking about. Then she adds that it's inappropriate to tell somebody that they're wrong as a person. And I said, Crystal, you better preach. I said, Crystal, come on through and let Kyle have it. Did you guys see Kyle's face when Crystal was letting her know that she was out of line? I was here for it. She was not expecting it, and she wanted Crystal to shut up. So now Crystal brings up their trip last year and the whole incident with Sutton walking into her room and her saying that she felt violated. So Crystal says, when I told you guys that I felt violated, y'all told me that I was doing too much, and you guys pretty much policed how I felt. So Kyle's getting defensive, and she's like, well, did I think that your reaction last year with Sutton was a bit extreme? Yes, but you can't compare these 2 situations because it's apples to oranges. So Crystal says, no, it's not apples to oranges, because last year you told me to give Sutton the benefit of the doubt, but now you guys are being super nasty to her. Like, that's not right. So now Kyle has the audacity and the gall to say that Crystal is dramatic. I said, Kyle, you're calling somebody else dramatic? Not the woman who can break out in tears in 5 seconds. You have the nerve to call Crystal dramatic for making a valid point and pointing out the hypocrisy in what you're saying. Got it. And of course, since Kyle is the queen of gaslighting and deflecting, she goes on to say, why are you making this about you, Crystal? And I said, the same way that you've made this robbery about you. Because every single scene is you discussing how sad you are about them being robbed. And then Kyle adds that she's not apologizing for what she said about Sutton in this regard. So now Erica decides that she wants a moment, and she questions Sutton if Sutton feels bad for how she treated her last season. So Sutton says, no, I don't. All I did was ask you some questions. So now Kyle interjects and says, no, you didn't. You said that she was a liar. I said, and what were you saying, Kyle? You had some stuff to say? You want to pin this all on Sutton like she was the only one talking about Erica Jane? Everybody would have some questions when your friend and her husband are indicted on all these charges of swindling orphans and widows. Like, what are you saying? So now Sutton asks, well, do you care how you treated me last year? And Erica says, absolutely not, bitch. I'd do it again. And I said, can somebody please check Erica? Because I tell you right now, if she calls Sutton a bitch one more time, it's going to be me and her. This whole tough girl act is getting old. Because I promise you, put you in a room with somebody who can fight, you'd be laid out on the ground. You're not that girl. You trying to bully Sutton is pathetic. And then Erica adds that Sutton's the common denominator in all the mess in this group. To the good folks over at Bravo, I know that you watch my channel. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. If you would not mind doing me one big favor, for season 13, can you please fire Erica and Kyle? If you fire nobody else, please fire those two. So Rinna's tired of all the back and forth. She interrupts and says, look, I think we're getting away from the main issue right now, and the main issue is Dorit and how we can support her. I get everybody's sides, I understand where you're coming from, but let's focus back on Dorit. So at this point, Crystal starts sobbing, and that has to be like the worst feeling when you're just so angry that you start crying, especially when you feel like you're not being heard and people are gaslighting you and telling you that what you're saying isn't making sense when you know good and well that you are making sense. So I definitely understood her tears because I would have been that angry too. So now Dorit walks over to Crystal to try to comfort her, and Crystal says, look, I don't feel like I'm being heard. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I just don't feel like trying to explain this to you because you obviously just don't get it. So now we see Crystal, Diana, and Sutton back in the car to their hotel, and Crystal is still sobbing in the car like she is just pissed. She says that she's just angry at the fact that a gang of people are telling her how to feel, and it's hurtful. I definitely felt bad for Crystal because I understood exactly what she was saying. I loved how she pointed out the hypocrisy, and Dorit and Kyle knew what she was talking about. They just wanted to make her feel crazy. It was clear that they were just angry at the fact that she was calling them out on the double standards in this group. And now we end the episode with Erica, Rinna, Dorit, Kyle, and Garcelle discussing what the F just happened. And Erica being a fake peacemaker, talking about how Crystal feels like her feelings aren't validated and how they can't jump on her or judge her. I said, girl, please stop it. Stop. Now all of a sudden, you of all people has all the answers? Enough. But that was the episode, y'all. As you guys can see that I was super heated. I mean, Kyle just really had me enraged. Because people like Kyle really infuriate me. They want to smile in your face, act like they love you, when they really don't. It's clear that Kyle has this vendetta against Sutton, and she low-key wants to take her down. But guys, we're only 3 episodes in, and baby, I just already know that the rest of this season is about to wear all of us out. But as always, thank you all for watching my recap. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.